What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazik, aka Unique Mazik, the hardest working man in sports and gaming, and I want to talk about NBA 2K20 covers. Yep, that NBA 2K20 Legends Edition cover is out, and well, it's not out, but it's been revealed, and it is fantastic. It is one of the best covers that I've ever seen from 2K. So, because I'm inspired by that particular cover, and I'm like, wow, I thought that I might go ahead and rank all of the covers from the beginning of the series from worst to best, right? So I'm going to count them down. Now, I'm going to let y'all know something before I get into this. I'm not going to be counting down like the Spanish version or the Canadian version. I'm just going to do the ones that, the versions that were released in the United States, right? So without further ado, I'm going to jump into number 26, which is my least favorite cover of all time. NBA 2K8. Also, one of my least favorite versions of the game. I thought the cover was pretty bland. And yeah, I don't know. Just Chris Paul's on the cover. Chris Paul was cool. Him back in the New Orleans Hornets days is fine. But just nothing. There's nothing special about this cover. Like nothing at all. So yeah, that's my least favorite. Number 25, NBA 2K7. So clearly, this was not a good era, in my opinion, for cover athletes or for covers. Shaq's fine as the cover athlete, even though I will say this, he was on the cover of 2K6, and when he was chosen for the cover of 2K6, I remember feeling like, okay, yeah, okay, Shaq, I get you. Went from the Lakers to the Heat, I get it. But this time when he was there, like the second year in a row, I was like, again, because they had started off with Allen Iverson was the guy, right? And then they switched to another cover athlete, which I'll talk about in a second. And then so they went to Shaq in 2K6. So at that point, I'm thinking they're going to do a different cover athlete every year. But no, they went with Shaq 2 years in a row, which I thought was kind of weird. So that was my number 25. Number 24, that other cover athlete I was talking about, ESPN NBA 2K5. This particular version I had fun with. I liked. Ben Wallace as the cover athlete was kind of a head scratcher to me, especially moving from Iverson to him. So I was kind of like, huh? I ain't had nothing against Ben Wallace, but it's just kind of like, okay, all right, I didn't get it. And the cover's just, okay. ESPN got more love than anything, and I didn't even think they used the ESPN license all that great that particular year. So it was kind of whatever. 23, NBA 2K3. This is my least favorite Allen Iverson cover. It's pretty standard, bland. One of the last ones they used of him. I can't say that I dislike any other covers with him on it, but this is my least favorite one of all. Next up was my next least favorite, which is number 22, which is NBA 2K2, which I guess that kind of made 20. Never mind. This one I don't hate. At least you got the little three in the background, and you got some almost not quite advanced statistic kind of thing in the back. It's not horrible, but it wasn't fantastic either. So it is what it is. Moving on to number 21. Now, y'all probably, if y'all know me, you know how much of a Derrick Rose fan I am. So you might be shocked to see me put any cover with Rose on it this low. But NBA 2K13's cover didn't blow my mind at all. I mean, it didn't do nothing for me. Really, it didn't. I'm never, if you're going to have three different players on a cover, in my opinion, you got to really, really go hard with the design. And I don't think that that's what they did here. I think it's a really basic design with Blake Griffin and Kevin Durant and Derrick Rose. And it's my least favorite usage of the old 2K red design. Going to number 20. Now, I ain't going to even lie to y'all. Part of the reason this is number 20 is because Kevin Durant has gone. He went from being like my favorite player in the league to my least favorite player in the league. And it was right around, I rooted for him to win the championship with Boston, which is the first time I'd ever rooted for Boston because he hadn't won. But when I started to see the type of player he had kind of dissolved into in terms of being dirty and all that other kind of stuff he picked up later on, I didn't dig it. The cover's not horrible. It's okay, even though that's a really stupid look on his face, in my opinion. But it just, yeah, it didn't resonate with me. The version of the game is pretty good, though. Number 19. They got three different covers for the same year, and they all kind of on the same level. So I'm gonna include all of them for NBA 2K16. So you got the Anthony Davis cover, the Steph Curry cover, and the James Harden cover. I like these covers because they tell a little story in the background with the use of the 2K red there. Um, I thought they could have chose like a little bit better of an action pose for each player, but for the most part, I dug it. So now we getting into the space of the covers that I pretty much liked, but I have to kind of say which one I like the most of all of them. Number 18, NBA 2K6. This was the first one Shaq was on. You know why? I don't know. This one's pretty basic, but what I liked about it was it's the only cover I think in 2K history where they literally took an in-game scene and just silhouetted it kind of sort of in a way. It's the most realistic in action scene of any of the covers I think that they have. And I kind of like that approach. And it was the first time Shaq was on there. So I was like, oh, okay, that's decent. Number 17, Shaq again, the Legends Edition. Now, I'll tell you this. I did not like the look of 18's covers, like removing like everything basketball from behind it and just going with this like construction paper look thing. I didn't like that much. But what I did like is this little edge of Shaq dunking and hanging on the logo. I thought that was pretty cool. And for that reason, with this type of a violent slam on there, I was like, yeah, we can go with this. Now, I didn't include he has a Heat version. Like one of the Legends versions could have got him with the Heat on the cover. That one I didn't include, but it's in the same category as this. Number 16, the standard edition of 2K18 with Kyrie on the cover. Now, this one has like a whole story behind it because Kyrie asked, he was on this cover with the Cavaliers. He asked for the trade, and then they had to scramble to get a new cover before the game came out. So all of that was really intriguing. It was a fun story to follow as a journalist, as well as a YouTuber and as a gamer. So I dug that, and for that reason, this particular cover kind of sits a little high with me. Not even the biggest Kyrie fan, definitely not a big Celtics fan, but that whole thing around this cover, the way it kind of all came together was kind of cool. Number 15. This cover is not all that fantastic, right? 2K17. Paul George, pretty basic, but Paul George happens to be one of my favorite players. And this was right after he was coming back from the horrific leg injury playing with Team USA. I also interviewed him right after the cover came out. I went to the NBA 2K Road to the Finals esports event in Los Angeles. He was there, Kobe was there, and that kind of kicked off the NBA 2K League. You know, a few of the guys who are actually in the NBA 2K League now played at that tournament. So it was a lot of things together. I learned a lot about the cover process from Paul George that day. We talked about how most of the cover athletes generally know in February, but they have to sign like an NDA so they don't let the secret out until it's revealed like in July. So I thought all of that was really cool, and so that entire process kind of made this cover a little bit more important to me. But just from a pure design standpoint, it's just okay. All right, number 14. Now, this is not just okay. This is a really good cover design. And there's also a story behind this NBA 2K14. This is the first version on the current generation of consoles. I remember I went to an event in Oakland. I believe it was in Oakland. No, it was in San Francisco or Oakland. I can't remember. And it's actually the only time. No, it's not the only time. I think it's the second time. The second time I've ever met the Czar in person. But I think this was the first time. And so we all got an opportunity he seen it, of course, but I got an opportunity to see the reveal of 2K on the next gen, that insane trailer with LeBron James interviewing LeBron James in the 2K with Steve Kerr in it. That was there. This cover is freaking awesome. I was one of the people who never hated on LeBron for going to the Heat, just with the powder toss. I really think this cover could actually be even higher, just all things considered, but I got it at 14. Number 13, NBA 2K19, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I love the message that they did last year with telling the player's story and everything. And over the course of the year, Giannis has just climbed up my list of favorite players. And the cover is really nice. It's somewhat simplistic, especially when you compare it to the other cover that was released with it that year. But it still does the job, tells the story. I dig it. Number 12, this year's standard and deluxe digital deluxe edition. This is a nice cover with Anthony Davis. If you notice, if you're from Chicago, you'll notice there's some very Chicago stuff in the background. You got like a sign there that says Inglewood, which is the neighborhood. I wasn't sure if Anthony Davis is actually from Inglewood. I know he went to Julian, which is not actually in Inglewood. But Derrick Rose is from Inglewood, went to Simeon, which is on the outskirts, like barely in Inglewood, like it's the southwestern, or I'm sorry, say the southeastern tip of what you would call Inglewood. So it's a little bit away from there, but it's there. You got all kinds of stuff here. Some people think it's like some clues to features. I don't really think that's the case because I'm pretty positive Park Affiliations isn't coming back. But some people would like to believe that that's what this is showing. But altogether, all things considered, this is a really solid cover, both because the standard and the digital deluxe is just a color difference. The art is the same. I think it's really dope. Number 11, NBA 2K15. And this is one of the reasons why people think that the covers tell like a story and give you, updates about the game. Because 2K15 is when Park and the Park affiliations were introduced. So you see at the bottom of the box there, you got the Park thing there. And at the time, we didn't know what that meant. So we didn't know that that's where we were going with it. This cover is just really solid. It's just real solid. Just the overlay with Durant on the top of the city, the use of the 2K red. I think it's just solid. Just a really strong cover. Now we into the top 10. Then the first ever 2K. I mean, this is what it is. It's the first ever 2K. Like I remember getting this game. It was October of 1999. Now Dreamcast, which is what this was the only system it was for, Dreamcast came out on September 9th, 1999. My birthday is September 8th. So I got Dreamcast the day it came out, and I got NFL 2K. And it was like, oh my God. And I'm like, at that time, the graphics was so next level. We were like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm losing my mind. It was insane. And then we knew that the basketball was coming out, but it wasn't a launch title. So it came out like a month later. When the game came out, I remember sitting here looking at that cover for a minute. It was fantastic. It was great stuff. So this cover is definitely special. I mean, the design is cool, but it's the first 2K. So now, number 9, NBA 2K1. Now, I love this one because it's showing like the process of the crossover. I love the AIs showing in here, the silhouetted version has like a different colorway than this one. It's real dope. You got the 3 here and you got the little stats in the background. This was a fantastic cover. One of my favorite Iverson covers. 2K1 is number 9. Number 8, NBA 2K10. This is a really good cover. I mean, this is when they first started using that blurred effect in the covers. And Kobe's on the cover, which Kobe's one of the greatest players of all time. People know I'm not as big a Kobe fan as like the true Kobe addicts, but you lying to yourself if you say this cover is not dope. I mean, he's plucking up the jersey, looking at, because I think he had just changed the number around this time, showing the 24, the tattoo that he had just gotten like a year or two before. That's represented. It's a great cover. It's a fantastic cover. Number 7, come on. Come on. He's the greatest player to ever live. He's the greatest player to ever live. We got the 2K red popping. This was the first ever game using the 2K red. Yes, it was. So think about that. That's historic in itself. And it introduced Mike back in the games, back in the video games. Like you could talk about covers and you could talk about, oh, well, you had Kobe on the cover before that, Durant on the cover before that, Chris Paul on the one before that, Shaq on the 2 before that, Ben Wallace, and then all the way back to AI. But if it runs all the way up to Mike at 2K to Michael Jordan at 2K11, come on. It can't. That's fantastic. This is a ridiculously good cover. It is. Number 6, the 2K17 Legends Edition. I don't know, 2K has gotten into this thing where they tell stories with the cover. I don't know that they've ever told a better story with a cover than they did with this Legend Edition cover. Maybe one other one, and we'll see. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this Legend Edition cover of Kobe, 2K17, capturing the final game and all of this stuff. I mean, it was great. The only thing I didn't like about the way they handled this whole Kobe implementation with the 2K17 is that they should have had a mode called Mamba Moments that year, and they didn't. And I think that was a wasted opportunity. It would have been dope. But that's my number 6. Number 5, my favorite Iverson cover ever. ESPN basketball. It was also known as 2K4. This cover is dope because it's not about the Sixers. It's not even about necessarily the NBA. This is about Iverson, the culture and the attitude that he brought to the game, and this is why so many people loved him. He had a people talk about like YouTube influencers and stuff like that. Few guys who have ever come into the NBA have ever been stronger influencers than Allen Iverson. And to me, this cover like really embodies that whole concept more than just about any of the other covers. All right, number 4. Now, this is my favorite 2K of all time, 2K12. And there were 3 covers, the Larry Bird, the Magic Johnson, and then the Michael Jordan. This one had the greatest of all time challenge. They never have they used the blended type of whole cosmic looking cover better. Never have they used it better than this. You got 3 of the greatest players that ever live. It really is just the perfect cover. Like, I don't know that they could have made this any better. The covers couldn't have been any better. I don't know that they could have picked three better people. I'd heard or saw that there was a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar version, but I don't think it was official. I think it was like something that a fan did, because there's some real talented people out here that can do some work, and you think 2K did it, but they didn't. So I don't know, but I know these were official and they were great. All right, moving to number 3. It's this year's Legend Edition. I'm telling you, this Dwayne Wade cover is sick. Like, the colorway, the everything about this is so Miami Vice, like, I don't even know. It conveys like a climate in the cover. It's sick. Like, it's just crazy. Hopefully the game is dope, because the cover is really fantastic. I mean, it is really good. I have nothing negative. It's just good. Just really, really good. So let's move on to number 2. The Legend Edition 2K16 Michael Jordan cover. Come on. As a lifetime Bulls fan, okay? And as a person who can appreciate the greatest player that ever lived, that should be everybody. This cover is impeccable. I mean, we got the first three-peat represented. We got the shot represented. We got one of the many. This is I don't know which dunk that is. That's not the Chinese Superman dunk. I don't know which one that is. We got all of it here, man. The only thing that ain't on here is Michael Jordan in the 45 jersey. Like, but he got so many moments, they probably ran out of sections. So it is what it is. But this is the greatest Michael Jordan cover ever, and it's the second greatest 2K cover in my opinion. Number 1, the 2K19 Legends Edition with Bron. Listen to me. Now, I know it's a lot of LeBron haters out there. I understand. I get, but I don't really understand. I think y'all mostly crazy. But this cover is so good. The team he was going to last summer, nobody knew. So 2K knew they wanted him on the cover because they knew he was going to be the straw that stirred the drink throughout the offseason with the conversation. But of course, didn't know what jersey to put him in. So LeBron is at this point, he's bigger than a team. He's bigger than having to be depicted as on a specific team. So all we need is his face and his ideals up here. King, strive for greatness, equality. I mean, GOAT. Well, I don't know, but I wouldn't say that, but and Mike's the GOAT. But James Gang got the kids' names on here. Chosen one. Honestly, man, I'm telling y'all, and I say this to y'all, I say this to people all the time. There's never been a more hyped athlete to completely live up to their expectations like LeBron. I mean, people were calling this dude the chosen one at 15 years old, and he literally is one of the 2 to 3 greatest players to ever live. Like that, like never happens. And to me, this cover totally embodies his overall greatness as a player, as well as his influence socially, because many great players on his level do not try to make an impact socially like he did. Michael Jordan definitely didn't. So LeBron deserves credit for those things. This cover to me gives him the right type of respect. And that's why, and it looks great. And that's why it is to me the best cover in 2K history. So that's my countdown. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I would love to hear what you guys think about the covers, which one was the best one to you. Even if somebody want to take the time to rank them and put them in the comment, I will read it, comment on it, whatever, share it. Let's go. I appreciate y'all watching as always. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Click that notifications bell as well. God bless and peace.